Power doesn't always announce itself with noise. Sometimes, it sits quietly across the table from you. Tailored suit. Calm voice. Eyes that don't blink when lives are being decided. Elara Whitmore learned that lesson the night she walked into the 42nd floor of Halstead Global. The building glowed above the city like a throne of glass and steel. She had never belonged in places like this. Too quiet. Too expensive. Too controlled. But desperation has a way of erasing pride. Her father's company was collapsing. Decades of work. Generations of sacrifice. Gone, unless a miracle arrived. And miracles, she'd been told, had a name. Adrian Halstead. CEO. Billionaire. Corporate predator. The man who bought failing companies the way others bought coffee. Elara sat in the leather chair, fingers clenched in her lap, as the door opened. He didn't rush. Didn't smile. Adrian Halstead walked in like he already owned the room, and everyone in it. Dark suit. Perfect posture. A presence that made silence feel heavy. "You're late," he said calmly. "I'm sorry," Elara whispered. "The elevator." "Sit." She did. Adrian took his place across from her, setting a folder on the table between them. "I've reviewed your father's accounts," he said. "Your company is bleeding." Her throat tightened. "I can help," he continued. "But I don't do charity." He slid the folder toward her. "This is a contract." Her hands shook as she opened it. Numbers filled the pages. Legal language she barely understood. "All debts cleared," he said. "Employees protected. Your father walks away intact." Relief flooded her chest. "Thank you," she breathed. I don't know how to repay." Adrian's gaze sharpened. "I do." He turned the page. And everything changed. Elara stared at the final clause. Her breath vanished. "This," she whispered. "This can't be right." Adrian leaned back. "You'll move into my penthouse," he said evenly. "You'll attend events at my side. You'll sign where indicated." Her pulse roared in her ears. "This isn't a business agreement," she said. "No," he replied. "It's leverage." Her voice trembled. "You're asking me to sell myself." Adrian stood. Walked closer. Lowered his voice. "I'm asking you to survive." She looked down at the signature line. One name. One decision. One life rewritten. Outside, the city lights flickered. Inside, Elara picked up the pen. And signed. Elara didn't know it yet. But the contract she signed wasn't just about money. It was about control. And Adrian Halstead never made deals he didn't intend to enforce. Elara expected luxury. What she didn't expect was silence. The penthouse sat above the city like it had been cut off from the world entirely. Glass walls. Muted lights. Furniture that looked more like art than something meant to be touched. Nothing personal. Nothing warm. Adrian Halstead's home felt exactly like the man himself. Controlled. Impenetrable. Cold. A private elevator opened directly into the living space. No doorman. No staff in sight. Just Adrian. And Elara. "This is where you'll stay," he said, removing his jacket and hanging it with precision. "Rules are simple." "Rules?" Her stomach tightened. "You don't leave without telling me. You don't bring guests. You don't speak to the press. And in public." He turned to face her. "You stay close." Elara nodded, unsure whether she was agreeing or surrendering. A woman appeared silently from a hallway. Middle-aged. Professional. Eyes sharp. "This is Mara," Adrian said. "She'll make sure you have everything you need." Mara's smile didn't reach her eyes. "Your room is prepared," she said. Elara followed her down a long corridor. The bedroom was large. Beautiful. And unmistakably not hers. No photos. No books. No life. Just space. That night, Elara lay awake staring at the ceiling. She hadn't told her father the truth. Only that Adrian had agreed to help. She didn't know how to explain the rest. Because how do you tell the man who raised you that you traded your freedom for his future? The first public appearance came 3 days later. A corporate gala. Black tie. Cameras. Power concentrated into one glittering room. Elara stood in front of the mirror as Mara adjusted her dress. It was elegant. Expensive. And made her feel like a stranger in her own skin. "Mr. Halstead prefers neutral colors," Mara said quietly. "He doesn't like distractions." Elara swallowed. When Adrian entered the room, conversation died around him. Heads turned. Eyes followed. And when his hand settled at the small of Elara's back, the room noticed. "This is Elara," he said smoothly to the first executive who approached. "My partner." The word echoed in her chest. Partner. Not girlfriend. Not fiancé. Something undefined. Throughout the night, Adrian guided her gently but firmly. A hand here. A glance there. Every movement calculated. Every smile rehearsed. Ilara felt like she was playing a role written by someone else. At one point, a woman approached. Tall. Impeccably dressed. Eyes sharp with recognition. I didn't know Adrian was serious again, she said, studying Ilara. Adrian's grip tightened slightly. This is not a conversation, he said coolly. The woman smiled thinly. Of course. Be careful, she added to Ilara. Men like him don't bring people into their world unless there's a reason. Later, in the car, Ilara finally spoke. Who was she? Adrian stared out the window. Someone who mistook proximity for power. The silence stretched. Why me? Ilara asked quietly. He turned to her then. Really looked at her. Because you're invisible to the people who matter, he said. And untouchable to the people who don't. Her chest tightened. That doesn't sound like a compliment. It's protection. Back at the penthouse, Ilara noticed something for the first time. Cameras. Subtle. Hidden. Watching. Are these? She began. Adrian didn't deny it. This building isn't safe for mistakes, he said. And neither are the people who want what I have. What do they want from me? She asked. His jaw tightened. Nothing, he said too quickly. That night, Ilara heard footsteps outside her door. A pause. Then, retreat. Sleep didn't come easily. Ilara believed she had signed a contract to save her family. What she didn't yet understand was that Adrian Halstead didn't bring her into his world to use her. He brought her in because someone else already was. The gift arrived the next morning. No note. No sender. Just a black box placed neatly on the kitchen counter. Ilara stared at it for a long time before touching it. It hadn't been there when she went to bed, which meant someone had entered the penthouse. Her pulse quickened. She lifted the lid. Inside was a phone. Old. Unbranded. Powered on. It buzzed the moment her fingers brushed it. One message. Unknown asterisk. You don't belong where you are. Ilara's breath hitched. She didn't have time to react before the door behind her opened. Adrian stepped in. His gaze snapped to the phone instantly. Where did you get that? He asked. It was here when I woke up, she said. Adrian, someone was inside. For the first time since she'd met him. He swore. Quietly. Sharply. He crossed the room and took the phone from her hand, reading the message. His jaw clenched. How long has it been there? He asked. I don't know. That was the wrong answer. Adrian turned away, already dialing a number. Shut the building down, he said into the phone. Check every access point. Every camera. He ended the call and looked at Ilara. You're not leaving this floor today. Fear crept into her voice. Who sent that? Adrian hesitated. Just long enough for her to notice. Someone testing boundaries, he said finally. That night, Ilara couldn't sleep. Not because of the cameras. Not because of the silence. But because she realized something chilling. She wasn't just being protected. She was being hidden. The next warning came disguised as kindness. A package arrived addressed to her by name. Inside was a dress. Simple. Soft. Exactly her style. And folded neatly inside the box. A photo. Her father. Leaving his office. Taken that morning. Alive. Unharmed. Watched. Ilara's hands shook violently as she stormed into Adrian's office. You said this was about business, she said, slamming the photo onto his desk. You said I was safe. Adrian stood slowly. His expression darkened. I said I would protect you, he replied. I never said they wouldn't try. They, she demanded. Who are they? Silence. Heavy. Then? My board, Adrian said. Her blood ran cold. They don't like uncertainty, he continued. And you represent it. You brought me here knowing this would happen, Ilara whispered. Yes. Her voice broke. So I'm a shield? No, he snapped. Your leverage. The word landed like a slap. Against who? She asked. Adrian stepped closer. Lowered his voice. Against the men who think power belongs to bloodlines, not competence. She stared at him. You're using me to keep yourself alive. His eyes didn't soften. I'm using the fact that they won't move while you're in the picture. Ilara laughed weakly. That's not protection. That's survival. That night, she tried to leave. She packed quietly. Moved carefully. But the elevator didn't respond. Her phone had no signal. The door locked behind her. Adrian stood there. Watching. You're not a prisoner, he said. Then let me go, she demanded. His voice dropped. If you walk out that door, he said, they won't come for me. They'll come for you. Her heart pounded. You brought me into a war, she whispered. Yes, he said. And you're safer with me than anywhere else. For the first time, Ilara saw something crack in him. Fear. Not for himself. For her. Ilara believed the contract bound her to Adrian Halstead. But the truth was far darker. She wasn't tied to him by ink. She was bound by danger. And the men watching from the shadows had already decided? She was expendable. Ilara stopped trying to escape after that night. Not because she stopped wanting freedom, but because she finally understood something terrifying. Leaving wouldn't make her free. It would make her dead. The penthouse felt different now. Smaller. Not because the walls moved, but because the truth had. Adrian changed too. He spoke less. Slept less. Watched more. He took calls behind closed doors. Lowered his voice. Locked doors that were never locked before. And for the first time, Ilara saw him bleed. Not physically, but in the way his shoulders sagged when he thought no one was watching. One night, she found him in the kitchen long past midnight. Suit jacket gone. Tie loosened. A glass of whiskey untouched in front of him. "You're still awake," he said. "So are you," she replied. Silence settled between them. Not hostile. Not warm. Just heavy. "Why didn't you tell me?" she asked finally. He didn't pretend not to understand. "Because knowing would make you afraid." "I already am." He exhaled slowly. "My father built this company," Adrian said. "He believed power was something you took, not earned." Ilara leaned against the counter. "When he died," Adrian continued, "the board expected me to fail." "You didn't." "No," he said quietly. "I took everything from them." She frowned. "That doesn't sound like the man they're trying to destroy." Adrian met her gaze. "They're not trying to destroy me," he said. "They're trying to remind me what I cost them." She hesitated. "And what did I cost them?" He looked away. "Control." A notification buzzed on his phone. His expression hardened. "They've frozen your father's accounts," he said. Ilara's heart dropped. "You promised." "I know." He stood, already moving. "They want to see how far they can push me." "And what happens if they push too far?" she asked. Adrian stopped. His voice was low. "Then I stop playing defense." The betrayal came from inside. Mara. Ilara noticed it first. A door left open that was always closed. A security feed paused at the wrong moment. And then, the elevator unlocked. Ilara stood frozen when she realized it. It wasn't a malfunction. It was permission. She turned slowly. Mara stood behind her. "I warned you," Mara said softly. Ilara's pulse raced. "About what?" "About men like him." The elevator chimed. Doors opening. "Get away from me," Ilara whispered. Mara smiled sadly. "They only want to talk." That's when Adrian appeared. Fast. Furious. He shoved Ilara behind him. "You made a mistake," he said to Mara. Her smile vanished. "They offered me my freedom," Mara said. "You taught me to value leverage. I learned." Adrian didn't argue. He pressed a button. The doors slammed shut. Security alarms wailed. Mara backed away. "You can't keep her forever," she snapped. "They'll tear her apart." Adrian didn't look at her. "I won't let them touch her." That night, Ilara finally asked the question she'd been avoiding. "Why me?" Adrian was quiet for a long time. Then, "Because you weren't supposed to matter," he said. "And somehow, you do." Her breath caught. "That wasn't part of the plan," he added. She realized then. He hadn't just underestimated the danger. He'd underestimated himself. Ilara thought Adrian Halstead was her captor. Then she thought he was her shield. Now she understood the truth. He was a man fighting with one fragile, human standing between him and annihilation. And the board? They were done waiting. The board didn't announce their move. They never did. Power like theirs didn't need threats. It needed silence. Ilara was in the library when the lights flickered. Once. Twice. Then steadied. Her first instinct was to call Adrian. Her phone had no signal. Again. Her chest tightened. That's when she heard it. Footsteps. Not Adrian's. Too many. Too coordinated. The door opened. Two men entered. Dark suits. Calm faces. Corporate insignias she recognized from board meetings she'd attended at Adrian's side. "Ms. Whitmore," one of them said politely. "We need you to come with us." Her heart slammed against her ribs. "No," she said. "Adrian. Mr. Halstead is currently occupied." The word chilled her. "I'm not going anywhere," she said, backing away. The man sighed. "This will be easier if you don't fight." She ran. Barefoot across marble floors. Heart pounding. Breath ragged. She didn't make it far. A hand caught her arm. Another voice murmured, "I told you this wasn't personal." The world went dark. Adrian knew something was wrong the moment the cameras went dead. Every feed. Every floor. At once. He didn't shout. Didn't panic. He moved. Lock down the building, he ordered. Now. Mara was gone. Security neutralized. The board had planned this carefully. Too carefully. When Adrian reached the library and saw the empty space where Ilara had been, something in him snapped. The phone rang. Private line. The board's number. You crossed a line, Adrian said before they could speak. A calm voice responded. No, the man said. You did. The screen lit up. A video feed. Ilara. Alive. Terrified. Restrained. Release her, Adrian said quietly. That depends, the voice replied. Step down. Transfer voting control. Publicly. Silence. Adrian's jaw tightened. If you touch her, we already have, the man interrupted. And you'll do what you're told. Adrian ended the call, picked up his coat, and walked out. Not toward negotiation. Toward war. Ilara woke in a glass-walled conference room. High above the city. Surrounded by men who smiled like sharks. You were never meant to be here, one said. You were a complication. She lifted her chin. He won't give you what you want. The man chuckled. He already has. Her heart dropped. You see, he continued, men like Adrian Halstead don't love. They protect assets. She shook her head. You don't know him. They smiled wider. That's where you're wrong. The doors opened. Adrian walked in. Calm. Controlled. Deadly. Ilara's breath caught. You're okay, he said to her softly. She nodded, tears burning her eyes. The board member leaned forward. Sign the transfer, he said, sliding papers across the table. Adrian didn't look at them. Let her go. After. No, Adrian said. The room tensed. I built this company, Adrian continued. I took it from men who believed fear was strength. He placed his hand on the table. And I will burn it to the ground before I give you her. The silence was deafening. The board member laughed. You're bluffing. Adrian smiled. No, he said. I'm done pretending. The windows darkened. Security alarms blared. External servers crashed. Accounts froze. In real time. Panic erupted. Adrian stepped closer to Ilara. Took her hand. And walked out. Ilara thought the contract bound her life to Adrian's power. But in that moment, she realized the truth. Power had never been the point. She was. And Adrian Halstead had just destroyed his empire. To prove it, the city didn't feel the same after that night. Power had shifted. Silently. Violently. Irreversibly. News outlets exploded with speculation. Markets crashed. Stocks froze. Halstead Global went dark. Adrian Halstead vanished. So did Ilara Whitmore. They didn't go back to the penthouse. Too exposed. Too watched. Instead, Adrian took her somewhere no one would think to look. A coastal house. Remote. Weathered by salt and time. Hidden behind cliffs and fog. No staff. No cameras. No glass walls. Just silence. And the sound of the ocean reminding them how small the world could be. For the first time since she signed the contract, Ilara slept without fear. But when she woke, Adrian was gone. She found him outside at dawn. Standing barefoot in the sand. Suit replaced by a simple coat. The billionaire stripped down to a man. You could have left, she said quietly. He didn't turn. I still can. That's not what I meant. He sighed. They'll come for me, he said. They'll come quietly. Legally. Relentlessly. She wrapped her arms around herself. And me? He turned then. His expression was raw. You're already free, he said. The contract is void. Her chest tightened. You destroyed everything. Yes. For me. Yes. Silence stretched. She should have walked away. That was the logical choice. The safe choice. The choice everyone would expect. Instead, she asked the question that terrified her most. What happens if I stay? Adrian's jaw clenched. Then you become the thing they use against me again. She stepped closer. And if I leave? Then I lose you, he said. And you're safe. She searched his face. For manipulation. For control. For the man she once feared. She found none. Only exhaustion. Only truth. I didn't ask for this life, she said softly. I know. But I won't be someone you protect from a distance. His breath hitched. If I stay, she continued, I stay because I choose you. Not because of a contract. Adrian closed his eyes. When he opened them, there was something there she hadn't seen before. Hope. You don't owe me anything, he said. She reached for his hand. I know. That night, helicopters passed far offshore. Lights sweeping the water. Searching. Adrian packed a bag. We leave at dawn, he said. If they find us. They won't, she said. How do you know? She smiled faintly. Because you taught me how power really works. Ilara once believed love was safety. Then she believed it was sacrifice. Now she understood. Love was choosing uncertainty over a life already decided for you. And the world wasn't done testing them yet. They found Adrian Halstead 3 months later. Not in headlines. Not in handcuffs. In a quiet courtroom announcement buried beneath louder news. Halstead Global had been dismantled. Piece by piece. Assets seized. Board members indicted. Years of corruption dragged into the light. Adrian was never charged. There wasn't enough left to accuse him of. By the time the world caught up, he had already walked away. Ilara watched the news from a small apartment overlooking the sea. Not a penthouse. Not a fortress. Just a place with sunlight and open windows. Adrian stood behind her, silent. You could go back, she said softly. Rebuild. Start again. He shook his head. I spent my life winning battles I didn't believe in, he said. I don't want another empire. She turned to him. And what do you want? He didn't answer right away. I want a life where no one has to sign a contract to stay. Her chest tightened. They lived quietly after that. No press. No power plays. No shadows at the door. But peace has a way of revealing what survival hides. Adrian began to fade. Not dramatically. Gradually. Long pauses. Shorter breaths. A cough that lingered too long. Doctors explained it gently. Stress. Years of pressure. A body that had paid its debt. Ilara sat beside him in the hospital room the night he finally told her the truth. The board didn't just want control, he said weakly. They wanted revenge. She held his hand tighter. They took something from me years ago, he continued. A woman I loved. A child I never met. Her breath caught. I thought power would protect me from loss, he whispered. It didn't. Tears slid silently down her face. I never wanted you to pay for my past, he said. But you did. And still, you stayed. He looked at her then. Truly looked. That was the only thing I ever did right. He passed quietly before sunrise. No cameras. No announcements. Just Ilara. And the ocean. Months later, she returned to the city once. Not to reclaim anything. But to leave something behind. A single envelope. No return address. Inside was a letter addressed to no one in particular. Power doesn't protect you from loss asterisk. Love doesn't guarantee survival asterisk. But choosing each other, even briefly, makes the cost worth paying asterisk. Ilara never remarried. She never became wealthy. But she became something she had never been before. Free. This wasn't a story about a billionaire. Or a contract. Or power. It was a story about two people who found each other. In the space between control and surrender. And learned too late. That love doesn't save you. It just tells you what was real. What do you think? Was Ilara right to stay, knowing how it would end? Or should she have walked away when she had the chance? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoy emotional, late-night stories like this, subscribe to Midnight Confessions. Another story waits when the clock strikes midnight.